कल से लड़की इधर बैठेगी, आप इधर बैठेगी कल से। आजा उधर बैठे हैं, कल से
So in the previous class, we have discussed that how the culture, the songs, the tradition, the dance, it kept the countries united. We saw the example of Poland. Let me be very clear to you, Poland was not even existing before the First World War. And finally, it came into existence after the Second World War. Although a state of Poland was created after First World War, but it never got enough independence to function as an independent country unless the Second World War ended. Yes, all those who are talking, pay attention. Now, especially on Poland, the rule of Russia was very vast. Russia ने क्या कर रखा था बेटा? पोलैंड के मैक्सिमम एरियाज को अपने कंट्रोल में ले रखा. And the Russians were very dominant on the Polish people. Dominant on the Polish people का ये मतलब होता है कि Russians पोलैंड के लोगों को अपना कल्चर, अपनी संस्कृति, अपना लैंग्वेज इस्तेमाल नहीं करने देते थे. The Russians used to force the Polish people to follow the Russian language, the Russian culture. Obviously, no one will like this kind of thing. Yes or no? हम सब इंडियंस तो है, बट अगर आप खुद सोचो, अगर किसी एक स्टेट के लोगों को दूसरे स्टेट के कल्चर का फोर्सफुली फॉलो करने के लिए बोला जाए तो नो वन विल लाइक. Obviously, we respect each other's culture and tradition, but anything if it is happening with force, it is not at all acceptable. Here, the Russians who were having the domination and the control over the Poland region, they used to force the Polish people to speak their language. Even in the schools, from the schools, the Polish language was completely removed and Russian language was implemented. तो सारे बच्चे अचानक से 4th स्टैंडर्ड तक मान लो पॉलिश लैंग्वेज में पढ़ रहे हैं, सडनली 5th स्टैंडर्ड से उनको क्या पढ़ना था, रशियन लैंग्वेज. It will be so very difficult for them to understand. Even in the offices, in the schools, not only that, even in the church also, the priest was asked to give their sermons in the Russian language. Even though they knew the Russian language, they felt that why we should resort to a foreign language. We can speak our own language, we can understand in our own language. Why can't the Russians accept us the way we are? But no, they wanted to be a dominant personality in Poland, so that's the reason. An armed rebellion took place in the year 1831. सारे जो पोलैंड के लोग थे उसमें से भी especially जो चर्च में जो प्रीस्ट थे ना, उन लोगों ने क्या किया, they waged a revolt, they waged an armed rebellion, and they said that we are not going to use Russian language. हम तो पॉलिश लैंग्वेज में ही सर्मन्स देंगे, हमारे मास जो होंगे वो पॉलिश लैंग्वेज में ही कंडक्ट होंगे, आपको जो करना है आप कर लो. And what the Russians did, they ended up punishing the Polish people. How did they punish them? वो सारे चर्च के प्रीस्ट जो रशियन लैंग्वेज में बात नहीं कर रहे थे, उनको उठाकर साइबेरिया नाम की जगह पर भेज दिया. Siberia is one of the coldest place in Russia, where a person without proper facilities he will die because of the cold. इतनी ज़्यादा ठंड पड़ती है वहाँ पर कि वहाँ पे कोई भी आदमी क्या हो जाएगा, मर जाएगा. So in order to facilitate the death of such priests or those bishops who gave their sermons in their native language, in order to punish them, Smith and Chaitanya. ध्यान अगर नहीं दोगे टॉपिक रिपीट नहीं होने वाला है. This is the once and the last time that I am teaching. इस तरह शिफ्ट हो जाओ, बैग बीच में रखो और इधर आओ, शिफ्ट हो जाओ to the extreme end of the bench. और इधर और नहीं गिरेगा, आजा और आजा.
अरे बस ये बीच में आ गया.
अभी तो बेंच के एक्सट्रीम एंड पे बिठाया बेटा, हद से ज्यादा कोई चीज करोगे तो क्लास के बाहर है. No pay attention. So this was the way the Russians, they tried to dominate on the Polish people, and nobody will like such kind of domination. We all know when did the Industrial Revolution begin? Anyone? Any idea? Industrial Revolution. Book में मत ढूंढो. 19th century? No. 18th century. It's between 18th and 19th century. So around you can say 1760s से लेकर 1840s के आसपास तक इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन अपने पीक पे था. It was on the peak. Now when a new thing comes up, obviously the old thing goes into darkness. Industries आ रहे हैं तो obviously the short small scale businesses or the वो जो छोटे मोटे businesses, जो cottage industry आप कह सकते हो, those things will be having a great setback. And most of the places in Europe, they were dependent on the small scale industries or the cottage industries or the small scale businesses. As suddenly the industrial revolution happens or suddenly big industries are cropping up, उसका क्या नतीजा होगा? Suddenly all the cottage industries को एक setback लगा, एक downfall देखने को मिला. वो जितना पहले पैसा कमा पाते थे अब उतना भी पैसा उनको अब नहीं मिल रहा है, because industries are giving up the things in a very cheap price. बच्चा आप लोगों को ये बात तो पता होगी ना कि इंडस्ट्री में बनाई हुई चीज काफी सस्ती होती है. It is very you can affordable. It is a kind of affordable thing. But a thing which is man-made and handmade, especially you can say customized kind of thing, they are costly, they are expensive. So whatever things the cottage industry people used to do before, that was customized, handmade things. So it was expensive. It used to take a lot of time to make them. And on the contrary, the industries provided the same goods at a very low cost, at a very low price. So many of the people they preferred purchasing from the industries. This kind of scene was much prominent in the field of textile industry. कपड़े के सेक्टर में ये बहुत ज़्यादा prominent हुआ. एग्जाम्पल के लिए एक आप ले लो समझने के लिए इन द सेंस, मान लो आप साड़ी के दुकान पे जाते हो, वहां पर जाकर आपने लेट्स से बनारसी साड़ी मांगी, आप अपने मम्मी को बर्थडे पे गिफ्ट करना चाहते हो, तो आपको अलग अलग रेंज की बनारसी साड़ियां दिखाएगा, 1000-2000 से लेकर 1 लाख रुपए की भी अवेलेबल होती है. तो ये 1 लाख रुपए वाले में और 1000 रुपए वाले में फर्क क्या होता है? 1000 रुपए वाले की क्वालिटी एक तो अलग होगी, दूसरा ये 1000 रुपए वाला जो होगा दैट विल बी मशीन मेड, उसके डिजाइन क्या होंगे? रेपिटेटिव होंगे, उसमें सिर्फ कलर्स अलग अलग मिलते हैं आपको, डिजाइन मोस्टली रेपिटेटिव होते हैं. बट द वन व्हिच यू आर पेइंग 1 लाख एंड यू आर परचेसिंग, उसका हैंडमेड होता है, उसमें एक भी गलती ढूंढने पे भी नहीं मिलती है. Moreover, the silk quality will be different. So this is just an example that how industries impacted on the earning of the cottage industry people or the small scale industry people. And this was mainly seen in textile production. And not only the colonial regions like India or Africa were hard hit, but Europe was also very hard hit by this whole scene in the initial years. Now, you all know in the previous class I had discussed that Europe को मैंने एक छोटे से square box में rectangle box में बताया था, and I said that most of the industrialization happened in the western part, and in the central and the eastern part the industrialization was comparatively less. So this is the reason that in the western parts the people were more liberal, the people had more freedom as compared to the eastern and the central regions, and that is the reason in the western areas of Europe the industrialization it flourished. As and how industrialization is flourishing, remember a sect of people, a group of people are facing a severe setback in their income. They are not even getting good harvest. Their agriculture is also falling down because of the natural calamities that comes up. You know, there is a drought or a famine like of thing, which severely affects the harvest, and the crops are not better, then ultimately the whole of the people, that group or that sect of the people, it is reduced to pauperism. That means poverty. They become very poor. Okay, समझा यहाँ तक? ध्यान दे रहे हो? Now, in the previous class we studied about sign. Anyone is remaining for sign? भैया sign खाली है. In the previous class, I had told you that in France there was a July Revolution. Remember, year 1830, right? In the year 1830, they had made July Revolution, and France had finally successfully dismissed that Louis XVIII as the. No, what did they do? Yeah, Louis XVIII they dismissed, and they gave the power in the hand of Louis Philippe, who agreed to become the constitutional monarch. Remember till this part, everyone? Now, when I discussed about the whole poverty in Europe, France is also part of Europe. Yes? So, this poverty will be faced by the French people as well. And whenever there is something wrong that is happening in the society ends up blaming the government. Agree? अगर आप लोगों के पास कल को पढ़ाई लिखाई करने के बाद जॉब नहीं होगा, गवर्नमेंट जॉब भी नहीं है, प्राइवेट जॉब भी नहीं है, तो आप किसको ब्लेम करोगे? गवर्नमेंट को, क्योंकि आपको पढ़ाई लिखाई होने के बाद जॉब देने की जिम्मेदारी किसकी होती है? गवर्नमेंट की होती है. और अगर आपको इंडिया में जॉब नहीं मिलेगा तो आप अब्रॉड चले जाओगे, अब्रॉड जाके सेटल होगे, जहाँ पे जॉब है वहाँ चले जाओगे. So same thing, here the people of France, they started coming up with their problems to their new king, that is the constitutional monarch, Louis Philippe. But is Louis Philippe in the situation, in that position to solve their problems? No, he is not that good as a king. He is not able to give them solutions for their problems. तो अब लुइस फिलिप क्या करेगा? भागे, वो फ्रांस छोड़ के भाग गया, और उसको पकड़ने के लिए उसके पीछे पीछे फ्रांस के लोग भागे. The people of France are running behind him. कि भाई हमारे प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन दो, तुम ऐसे भाग नहीं सकते हो. And to prevent the people of France killing Louis Philippe, there are barricades that are erected. Barricading मतलब वो एक shield जैसा लगा देते हैं ना लोग क्रॉस करके, the crowd or the mob, you should not end up crossing the line and come inside the king's palace to kill him. That's the reason the barricades or the shield like thing was put up. Ultimately, Louis Philippe is out of the story now. Okay, clear up till here? सबको समझ में आया? तो सबसे पहले आया था नेपोलियन. नेपोलियन को भगाया 1815 के वाटरलू वाले बैटल. Then after 1815 to 1830, it was the time period of the new conservatism. Yes or no? New conservatism. They gave the power in the hands of Louis XVIII. They restored the Bourbon dynasty under the Treaty of Vienna. Remember these things? You all remember? Then after removing Louis XVIII, they restored back this kind of constitutional monarchy by doing July Revolution. And after July Revolution, this person in the year 1830, this after July Revolution, Louis Philippe, he became the monarch, constitutional monarch, and he also ran away in the year 1848. So 1830 से 1848 कौन था? लुइस फिलिप. अब लुइस फिलिप भी भाग गया. अब फ्रांस, तेरा क्या होगा? ये क्वेश्चन आ रहा है माइंड में, फ्रांस का क्या हुआ होगा? Now ultimately the National Assembly declared France as a republic. Finally, in the year 1848, France becomes republic. Who declares it to be as republic? The National Assembly. The National Assembly of France. याद है ना National Assembly बना था? State General, 9th Standard, French Revolution. Yes, tennis photo. See, my Smith remembers.
Yes.
Now, this National Assembly, it proclaimed France to be as a republic. Finally, all adult male, mind my words, female have not got still voting rights. Only adult male are getting the universal suffrage, or universal male suffrage, you can say. Okay, so they have got voting rights. All the adult males above age 21 years of age, they can cast their vote. Not only that, they have also granted the right to work, because the people guaranteed the work, because people of France, they are not having employment, right? And since they are not having employment, they are all in a fix, they are all in a question mark kind of situation, confusion like of situation कि अब हमारा क्या होगा. इसी को सॉल्व करने के लिए नेशनल असेंबली ने अलग अलग जगहों पर नेशनल वर्कशॉप्स लगाए टू प्रोवाइड एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू द पीपल. Am I clear up till here, everyone? Yes. Moving further, suddenly now your NCRT, it thinks of giving you a story. It remembers that there is something that had happened in the year 1845, and it is telling you a story. Already हम कहानी में कहाँ तक पहुँच गए थे बेटा? 1848 तक पहुँच गए, जहाँ पे हमने किसको भगा दिया था? लुइस फिलिप को भगा दिया था, and we have now got a republic France. But suddenly your NCRT, it remembers that there is a story of a village near Silesia. Go to your page number 20. There you can see. There in the map, you have that violet color shaded, purple or violet something, shaded part, Silesia. Can you see there under the kingdom of Prussia? Dekha? Yes, ये story वहाँ की. Now this story is written by a journalist. His name is William Walsh. What is his name? William Walsh. Now what William Walsh says here is, in Silesia, there were too many people who were ready to do any work, and there was no job opportunity. Just try to imagine a situation where there is just one job vacancy and there are more than lakhs of people who are applying for that job. Do you think the employer will take advantage of this situation? Yes. What kind of advantage he will end up taking? Correct. Less wages. पैसा क्या कर देगा? कम कर देगा. मान लो अगर उस काम के लिए तनख्वाह की सैलरी की लेट्स से 50,000, तो अब वो उस काम को बस 5,000 में करवाने के लिए. Yes or no? Out of that 1 lakh people, some poor, very poor person will agree to do that work for just near 5,000. Yes or no? Same kind of thing was happening here in this village near Silesia. They were all weavers who were staying in this village. जो लोग थे वो weaving का काम करते थे, textile weavers थे. So they needed the raw materials, and this raw materials was supplied to them by a contractor. This contractor used to give them raw material also and orders also. कि भाई इतना raw material ले लो, इतना cotton ले लो, let's say cotton ले लो, raw material ले लो, और मुझे इसका कपड़ा बना के दे दो. मैं ये कपड़ा कहाँ ले जाके बेचूंगा? शहर में ले जाके बेचूंगा. बेचने पे जो प्रॉफिट आएगा उसका, लेकिन हर एक दिन का जो काम रहता है उसका पैसा कुछ फिक्स करके वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर उन वीवर्स को देता. But now, taking advantage of the situation that the weavers are not having any job, they are not having any other opportunity for work, the daily wage that the contractor provided to the weavers, he started reducing it. He reduced it to very low extent, and still the weavers were agreed to do because they had no other means of earning. तो जो भी काम मिल रहा है लोग बेचारे करने के लिए क्या है, तैयार. तो ऑब्वियसली इस पूरे सिचुएशन का डिसएडवांटेज किसके पास जा रहा है? वीवर्स के पास. और एडवांटेज पे कौन जा रहा है? कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जा रहा है. कुछ 18,000 inhabitants थे, 18,000 inhabitants who were involved in the cotton weaving work. They felt that this is very bad that is happening to us. And on 4th June at around 2 p.m. दोपहर के 2 बजे थे, a large crowd of weavers, they all came at one place. They all came from their homes and they started marching in the pairs. मतलब दो जन करके एक साथ ग्रुप में एक क्राउड बनकर मार्च करने लगे. And where they are going to reach now? They are going to the contractor's home. कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के घर पे जाकर उसको रिक्वेस्ट किया कि भाई जो तुम कर रहे हो ना, that is not fair enough. You stop doing this kind of thing. You give us fair wage for our work. But do you think the contractor will agree to their pleas? No. The contractor, what he said, he was very much disrespectful towards these weavers. बहुत ही गंदे तरीके से उसने बात किया, बिल्कुल रिस्पेक्ट नहीं दी उन वीवर्स को, ऐसे खराब ट्रीटमेंट दिया उनको. तो जो वीवर्स थे, they became very angry, and in their anger they broke his house. They broke the window, beautiful elegant window of that contractor. They broke it. They went inside the home. They broke the furniture. They broke all the porcelain decorative items. देखा है ना इन अमीरों के घरों में क्या रहता है? In the cupboards, inside that cupboards, they keep all those decorative teapots, cups and saucers. So all those porcelain things, these weavers, they broke up. Now the contractor, will he stay back there कि आजा बच्चा इतना सब तोड़ ही दिया, मेरे को भी मार देंगे, ऐसा बोलते वही बैठा रहेगा क्या वो? नहीं, क्या करेगा कॉन्ट्रैक्टर? भाग जाएगा. यस, तो यहाँ पे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर क्या किया? भाग गया. भाग के किधर गया? He went to the neighboring village. He went to the neighboring village. अब neighboring village में जाके this contractor is pleading to the neighboring village people कि भाई मुझे रख लो, मुझे थोड़ा दिन रख लो, ठीक है, जब तक मेरा घर ठीक नहीं हो जाता मुझे यहाँ पे रख लो. The neighboring village people also refused him. They said अबे तेरे पाप का घड़ा भर चुका है, तुझे हम नहीं रख सकते, निकलो. You know, even the neighboring village people, they didn't accept to protect him. Even they said whatever you have done with the people of Silesia, it is very prominent. तेरा पाप का घड़ा क्या हो चुका है? भर चुका है. अब हम तुझे हमारे पास ही नहीं रख सकते. And then finally this person, he was hiding somewhere. Ultimately the king of Prussia, because since this comes under Prussia, he sent his army. He requestioned the army to this place, and army की मदद से ये वापस अपने टूटे घर में पहुंच जाता है कॉन्ट्रैक्टर. And after reaching back to his home, he ensures that 11 weavers who were the leader of this revolt, they are shot and killed. Yes, he ensured that. उसने देखा, उसने ध्यान दिया कि वो जो 11 weavers थे जो इस पूरे रिवोल्ट में, इस पूरे रेबेलियन में were at the forefront, who had marched and who had started this rebellion, they are shot and they are killed. तो हुआ कुछ फायदा इतना करने का, तोड़फोड़ करने का? कुछ. Ultimately the weavers only they lost their lives. Got it? Things are clear up till here. Yes. Anyone any doubt, beta? No? Shall we move ahead? You read the first part, page 17.
पहले
added to the revolts of the poor, unemployed, and starving peasants and workers in many European countries in the year 1848. A revolution led by the educated middle classes was under events of February 1848 in France had brought about the abdication of the monarch and the republic based on the universal male suffrage had been proclaimed. In other parts of Europe, where, where independent nation states didn't yet exist, such as Germany, Italy, Poland, and Austro-Hungarian Empire, men and women of the liberal middle classes combined their demand for the constitutionalism with the national unification. They took advantage of of the growing popular unrest to the push their demand for the creation of a nation state on parliamentary principles, a constitution, freedom of press, and freedom of association.
Yes, wait. Remember what Metternich had said about France? Whole Europe catches cold. तो छीका ना फ्रांस ने हाँ जुलाई रेवोल्यूशन हुआ ना 1830 का तो क्या किया फ्रांस ने छीका तो सर्दी तो फैलेगी ना यूरोप में फैल गया अभी सर्दी देखो कैसे So after the France showed the example of July Revolution 1830, again Europe got cold. Okay, because after this revolution, other European countries got inspired. सच में cold नहीं हो रहा है. They got inspired. They got inspired to again fight a war against their monarch. They now decided. They are now determined to finally remove the monarchy from their country and bring constitution, freedom of press or association. Now, which are these countries which are still under the monarchical rule, who are not having universal money print suffrage? Germany, Italy, Poland, and Austro-Hungarian Empire. So now these four countries, they are now trying to get themselves liberated. How are they going to liberate themselves? That is a big question here. First, we will discuss about the Germany story, then we will discuss about Italy, and last we will discuss about how Britain and their United Kingdom, how it came to existence, all. So the rest of this chapter is very interesting from here, I must say. नहीं है? So in Germany, basically there were many businessmen. No, now see, when I talk about France, हमें क्या समझ में आया था कि वहाँ के लोग तो भूखे थे, उनके पास खाने के लिए भी कुछ नहीं था, वो रो रहे थे. But that was not the situation with Germany. In Germany, people had enough food to eat. दो वक्त तो खा ही लेते थे. सबसे गरीब आदमी भी जिनका एक वक्त का रोटी तो खा ही रहा है, ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे in Germany, they are not striving to think about what they are going to eat the next day morning. So obviously the people are having some time to think about their political freedom. Agreed? हाँ या ना तो बोलो. So now they are thinking about their political freedom. Basically, the middle class people, the middle class professionals, businessmen, artisans, teachers, lawyers, these are the educated, wealthier middle class people who will talk about the political scenario of their country, their respective countries, and they together they decided that we will make an assembly. And here the assembly that happened in Germany, we will name it as All German National Assembly. What is its name? All German National Assembly. It's not all is not included itself. Sorry if I mispronounced it. It is German National Assembly. Let me correct myself. It's named as German National Assembly. And they all came in the city of Frankfurt. Frankfurt is a city in Germany. वहाँ पे ये सभी लोग एक साथ आते हैं. And then they decide to elect electors or voters amongst themselves, representatives amongst themselves. And 831, along with the 831 elected representatives, they all marched towards the Frankfurt Parliament, which was to be organized in the Church of the Saint Paul. Remember who is ruling Germany? Which king? Prussia. King of Prussia. King of Prussia is ruling Germany. अब जर्मनी को इंडिपेंडेंस चाहिए तो इटाली के किंग से मांगेगा क्या? किससे मांगेगा? प्रशिया। प्रशिया का राजा किधर रहता है? प्रशिया। वो अपने महल में रहता है, वहां से आप उससे रोज बात कर पाओगे क्या? नहीं। उसको मिलने के लिए कहीं डेसिग्नेटेड प्लेस पे आपको जाना पड़ेगा। एग्री? तो ये डेसिग्नेटेड प्लेस कौन सा हो सकता है? ट्रांसपोर्ट पार्लियामेंट। पार्लियामेंट तो एक पब्लिक प्लेस है जहाँ पे इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स आकर अपने डिमांड को पुट अप कर सकते हैं। यस और नो? Frankfurt Parliament. And where is this Parliament arranged? It is arranged in the Church of Saint Paul. Okay? So now these 831 people, if they want to put up their demand of getting freedom, of becoming a free independent German country, they will approach the King of Prussia. Now यहाँ पे जो King of Prussia है, he is Friedrich William IV. Friedrich William IV, they went to this person and they gave him a constitution. भाई राजा जी आप ये लो, ये constitution रखो और जर्मनी को इस constitution के तहत रूल करो. Do you think the king will agree? No. Is any king ever happy by any kind of constitution? No. राजा को तो सबसे ज्यादा नफरत ही किस चीज से होती है? Constitution. प्रजा से नफरत हो गई बेटा तो टैक्स मिलना बंद हो जाएगा, है ना? नफरत किससे होती है? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से होती है, क्योंकि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जैसे ही आता है लिमिट्स द पावर। क्या उसके बाद राजा ऑटोक्रेटिक रहता है क्या? नहीं। राजा के ऊपर क्या लग जाते हैं? लिमिटेशंस। So no Raja will like a constitution coming in his life. He will always prefer to be an autocratic king. That is what happened. King Friedrich William IV, he rejected it. वो बोला क्या रे? तुम लोग कभी भी उठ के ग्रुप बनाते, गाना बजाते, आ जाते हो सेंट पॉल चर्च में and you ask me to accept this constitution. चलो जाओ, मैं नहीं एक्सेप्ट करता, जाओ घर जाओ. तो यहाँ पे राजा ने मना कर दिया. And what the Raja did? He sent the people back. Now there is a problem. Whenever you form an assembly, Chaitanya, you have to talk while the landing. बैग किधर रखेगा? उधर बीच में रखो उसको. That is the barricade. That is the barricade. गिर रहा है वो. गिरा हुआ है पैर पे गिर रहा है. इधर मत जाए तू दूर. तेरी जगह बदल गई क्या? सॉरी. फिर यहाँ आके बैठना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो यहाँ आके बैठना पड़ेगा. आजा. जब बैठना पड़ेगा तब. Last warning. Now, what the king did? He refused. He did not agree to accept the constitution. He asked the people to go back. Now, the German National Assembly, which has formed with 831 people, there is one problem with them. What is that problem? All these people are educated. They are middle class. They are wealthier. So, do you think they will ever be bothered by the powers or like the problems which are faced by the poor people in German society? No. They were just bothered about their growth, their upliftment. They were thinking that how can we become upper class from middle class? That was their issue. तो ऐसे में क्या आप अपने गरीब लोगों के बारे में कुछ सोचेंगे बेटा? बिल्कुल नहीं. यहाँ पे फिर प्रॉब्लम. When these German National Assembly people, they started ignoring the needs and the requirement of the poor people in Germany, they lost their support. पहले तो गरीब लोग भी support कर रहे थे. Whom they were supporting? The German National Assembly, with the hope that these educated, middle class, wealthier people will bring some change for them also. But did they bring any change? No. Did they manage to convince the king to become a constitutional monarch? No. So ultimately, the German National Assembly was a failure. The king, Friedrich William IV, could very easily, with the help of his troops, with the help of his army, he could disband the National Assembly. वो 831 लोगों को क्या किया? भगा दिया. समझ में आया यहाँ तक? कौन कौन भागा आज हमारे क्लास में से? सबसे पहले तो नील फिलिप भागा. इधर से भाग गया France. Why? Because he had no solution for the rising unemployment and other problems which were prevalent in the France. Now next, who is running away here? कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स, करेक्ट, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर भी भागा था, वेरी गुड। कॉन्ट्रैक्टर कहाँ भागा? बगल वाले विलेज, बट देयर आल्सो ही डिडंट गेट एनी refuge. Now the third person who is running away from her is the German National Assembly. 831 people, they were disbanded. और इसको disband करने के लिए, इस assembly को तोड़ने के लिए, the king took the help of army. The king took the help of army. Remember my words, because I'm going to connect this story to the further part. तो यहाँ पर 831 लोगों की जो जर्मन नेशनल असेंबली बनी है, इसको तोड़ने के लिए राजा ने किसका हेल्प लिया? आर्मी का हेल्प लिया। ठीक है, यहाँ तक याद हो गया सब? किसी को कुछ डाउट है? Okay. Now women, condition of women, again this NCERT remembers, बीच में झटके लगते हैं इसको। और अभी women का condition याद आ जाए। Women were not given any political rights, we all know. Be it Germany, be it France, the condition of women was some more or less the same. So in France also we all know, in 9th class we have studied, women got voting rights in the year
1946.
1946. भूल गया 9th class? Then in Germany also the women were not given voting rights very soon. Their political rights were also in a controversial scenario. Now what is happening when the 831 people, they are approaching to the king of Prussia, Frederick William IV, to make Germany as an independent country. These 831, all these people were male. None of them were women. If there were some women, they were made to stand at the balcony region. You know, the big palaces, they had a ground-like thing in the ground floor, and then there was a corridor-like system made for the upper floor. Yes, sir. वहाँ से खड़े रहकर चुपचाप देखना था. They had no say, they had no right to say anything in the whole system. They were not even given an opportunity to speak to the King Frederick William IV to convince him to make Germany an independent nation or a nation state at least. Independent तो दूर की बात है, at least a nation state. They couldn't speak. They were not allowed to speak. So women had kept forming their own political association, organization. They had made their newspapers. But in spite of all this, in spite of the political meetings, and in spite of them playing a major role in framing the constitution for Germany, they were denied political rights. Am I clear up to here? Yeah, moving forward. So they were just made to stand as an observer in the Frankfurt Parliament convened at the Church of Saint Paul, and they were just supposed to stand in the visitors' gallery or the balcony-like section and see what is happening there. Now I want one of you to read the next one, last paragraph. Any doubt? You want to read? Yeah, you read. Page number 18. Though conservative forces from there.
Though conservative forces were able to suppress liberal movements in 1848, they could not restore the old order. Monarchs were beginning to realize that the cycles of revolution and repression could only be ended by granting concessions to the liberal nationalist revolution. Hence, in the years after 1848, the autocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe began to introduce the changes that had already taken place in Western Europe before 1850.
First serfdom.
First serfdom and government were abolished, both in
Habsburg
dominance and in Russia. The Habsburg ruled granted more autonomy to Hungarians in 1867.
Yes. Now what happened here is the conservatives, that is the king. Who is the conservative king of Prussia we just now discussed? Frederick William IV. He is completely refusing to give any kind of concession to make a German state. Do you think the people under his kingdom, his territory will be very happy with him? क्या लोग उसके साथ खुश रहेंगे? उसके इस ऑटोक्रेटिक बिहेवियर के बाद जब वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को एक्सेप्ट करने से मना कर रहा है, क्या लोग उसके साथ खुश रहेंगे क्या? नहीं. तो कहीं ना कहीं the conservatives, that is the kings, they had started realizing that अगर हम ऐसे ही सबको मना करते जाएंगे ना, तो कभी ना कभी ये सारे लोग मिलकर हमको राजा के पोस्ट पे से भगा देंगे. मार काट के भगा देंगे. So now even though Prussia king was adamant, he as a conservative ruler he did not agree, but other kingdoms like Austria, Hungary, where it was having the Habsburg Empire, their king he felt कि अरे आज नहीं तो कल मेरा घड़ा भी भर ही जाएगा, मैंने भी कौन से कम पाप किए हैं, मुझे भी तो मरना ही है, तो इससे अच्छा है कि मैं ही कुछ कंसेशन दे दूं अपने लोगों को ताकि वो आकर मुझे मारने से पहले मैं उनको थोड़ा सा हैप्पी कर दूं. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So in order to impress the people, the public, instead of becoming a very cruel kind of king, he decided to grant some concession. What was the concession? The first thing here is the serfdom and the bonded labor was abolished. What is the difference between serfdom and bonded labor? What is serfdom? Slavery, a kind of slavery. Slave बना के रखना. Okay. What is bonded labor then? What is bonded labor? पिछले क्लास में एक्सप्लेन किया था 9th क्लास में.
पिछला क्लास
कहाँ याद रखेंगे?
9th स्टैंडर्ड कौन सा 10 साल पहले पास हुआ था?
1 साल हो गया.
ये एक रिच आदमी है. कौन है ये? एक रिच मैन. और ये बेटा एक पुअर आदमी है. Now this poor man, he comes to the rich man to ask for money. Big में नहीं, lend.
लोन.
Now the rich man, he will give money to the poor man on a very huge interest rate. Suppose he has taken 100 rupees. On this 100 rupees, the rich man will ask him to pay 100% rate of interest, which is very big rate of interest. Yes or no? 3 या 4% rate of interest करने में भी लोगों की जान निकल जाती है. And on the contrary, he is asking for such high interest rate. और वो भी कैसा interest है बेटा? Compound interest. क्या होता है कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट? बढ़ते जाता है, चक्रवाढ़ ब्याज है.
से भी बढ़ेगा वो.
इंटरेस्ट तो वही रहेगा लेकिन अमाउंट क्या होगा बेटा? बढ़ जाएगा, बढ़ता चला जाएगा. अब इतना बढ़ा हुआ अमाउंट ये वैसे ही क्या है बेटा? क्या ये उस पैसे को रिटर्न कभी कर पाएगा? तो ये हमेशा के लिए क्या हो गया? लोन में फंस गया. अब इस लोन में फंसे हुए आदमी को लोन से बाहर निकलने के लिए he will have to go and work in the farm of the rich man free of cost. Will this loan be ever be recovered even if he goes and works there free of cost? So for lifetime he, his wife, his family, even his children are pushed into bonded labor. Is the concept of bonded labor very clear to everyone?
Yes.
So what the Habsburg dynasty? Okay, where is this Habsburg dynasty ruling on? It is ruling on Austria and Hungarian Empire. Yes? समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ? फ्रांस में कौन सी डायनेस्टी थी? ऑस्ट्रिया हंगेरी में कौन सी डायनेस्टी है? So what the Habsburg dynasty and its king decided that we will give some freedom to the people from serfdom and bonded labor, and not only them, the along with the Habsburg Empire, also the Russians, they also granted some autonomy to the Hungarians. Okay, so some freedom to rule amongst themselves was given to the people, and this all happened in the year 1867. ताकि ये सब क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये मस्का क्यों लगा रहे हैं लोगों को, रूलर्स, ताकि रूलर्स को पावर से हटना ना पड़े, भागने की जरूरत नहीं है. Am I clear up to here? Moving further, the making of Germany and Italy. बच्चों समय बदलता है, समय के साथ सोच भी बदलती है ना, लोगों की सोच भी बदलने लगती है. So 100 years before in India, the way people used to think, it is not the same way that the people are thinking now. तो जो कंसेप्ट बच्चे ध्यान नहीं देंगे ना, तो मैं एक्सप्लेन नहीं करने वाली फिर से. स्मिथ 10th में तो याद रख, कौन से क्लास में? 9th वाला क्लास का रिवीजन एपिसोड नहीं चल रहा है, बार बार भूल जाता है बच्चा. And you know this chapter, I'm taking it in the very beginning. By the time it is your exam time and the time you have to go and write your paper, जब आप रिवाइज करने बैठोगे, ऐसा लगेगा पिछले जन्म में कुछ हुआ था. हाँ, that is the fact. If you people don't keep revising, if you people don't pay attention in the class, ये सब ये हैब्सबर्ग एम्पायर, ये फ्रांस, ये फिलिप, सब पिछले जन्म के दोस्त लगेंगे. जो भी तुम बनाना चाहो. तो इसी जन्म का अगर फील करना चाहते हो तो अभी क्लास में ध्यान दो. समय के साथ क्या बदली बेटा? सोच बदली. सोच क्या किसकी बदल रही है? कंजर्वेटिव्स की बदल रही है. वो कंजर्वेटिव्स जो पहले अपना पावर जरा भी शेयर नहीं करना चाहते थे ना, अब वो खुद ही आगे बढ़ के नेशन स्टेट बनाने की बातें कर रहे हैं. क्यों ऐसी बातें कर रहे हैं? ऐसा क्या हो गया जो पहले तो वो जरा भी इंडिपेंडेंस नहीं देना चाहते? रिमेंबर फ्रेडरिक विलियम IV, what he said, he will not accept the constitution, he had said. But now what suddenly happened? ऐसा क्या कहानी में ट्विस्ट आ गया कि अचानक से ये लोग खुद ही आगे बढ़ के क्या बोल रहे हैं कि हम नेशन स्टेट बनाएंगे. एजुकेशन ले रहे हैं, सोच बदल गई. और some others also, लेकिन इसको ही नहीं पूछ रही हूँ, मैं सबको पूछ रही हूँ. तू तो क्वेश्चन ही नहीं सुन रहा है यार, तू तो रहने ही दे.
इसने पूछा क्या, मेरे को क्यों बोल रहे हो?
तू बैठ अपने जगह पे, तू हटका क्यों वहाँ से? Sit on that extreme bench.
ये पूछ रहा है.
अब लोगों के साथ उनकी सोच भी बदलने लग गई थी. सोच बदलने के पीछे सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट वजह थी बेटा फियर, डर. डर ही एक ऐसी चीज होती है जो इंसान की सोच बदल सकती है. और यहाँ पे राजा क्या था? डर को. राजा को डर लग रहा था. इस बात का डर लग रहा था राजा को कि कहीं मुझे ही एक दिन सारे लोग मार मार के भगा ना दे. ऑलरेडी लुइस फिलिप क्या हो चुका है? भाग चुका है. कहीं अगला नंबर मेरा ना आए, ऐसा यूरोप के हर राजा को लग रहा. Am I clear up here? अब इस भागने का जो चक्कर है इसको ब्रेक करना था. इसलिए राजा को खुद से सोचने लगे कि लोग आकर हमसे रिवोल्ट करें. बिफोर द पीपल दे कम एंड दे स्टार्ट अ रिवोल्ट एंड दे पुश अस टू गिव देम इंडिपेंडेंस और मेक अ नेशन स्टेट. वी विल आवरसेल्व्स टेक द लीड इन फॉर्मिंग द नेशन. समझा? यहाँ तक समझा? देखो, जो पहले फ्रेडरिक विलियम के टाइम पर जर्मन नेशनल असेंबली बनी, उस नेशनल असेंबली के डिमांड्स को क्रप कर दिया. द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज नॉट एक्सेप्टेड, द पीपल वर डिसबैंडेड. सो हु डिसबैंडेड द जर्मन नेशनल असेंबली? आर्मी, द ट्रूप ऑफ द किंग. यस और नो? आई जस्ट नाउ स्क्रैम किया सो लाउडली कि क्या हुआ था? आर्मी के लोगों ने किसको डिसबैंड किया है? जर्मन नेशनल असेंबली को डिसबैंड किया. मतलब वो आर्मी के लोग जो खुद पहले कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं चाहते थे, they didn't want the constitutional monarchy. Now see how they are going to twist in their approach. Initially, these army people, the king, they used to follow the orders of the king very, like अभी इसके आगे कुछ और बोल ही नहीं सकते. Very obedient they were in following the king's orders. So the army, the aristocracy, and the junkers. Junkers means the people who were the large land owners. बड़े बड़े जमीनें जिनके पास हुआ करती थी उनको क्या कहते हैं? Junkers. Okay. So the junkers, the army, the military, and the aristocracy were all the type of typical conservatives in the German society, and they wholeheartedly supported the decision of their king, the then king Frederick William IV, and they were against the constitutional monarchy. But now the times have changed. अब फ्रेडरिक विलियम IV कोई अमृत पी के तो पैदा नहीं हुआ था कि जिंदगी भर लाइफ टाइम उसकी वैलिडिटी बनी रहेगी. निपट गया वो. उसकी डेथ he died in the year 1861. वो मत, उसके बाद जो राजा बना था बेटा वो थोड़ा अच्छा राजा था, उसका नाम है विलियम वन। ओके, उसका नाम क्या है? विलियम वन। So this is the new king. Now this new king, he calls his chief minister. Now he is the new king of Prussia. Yes, we are all talking about the Prussia. तो प्रशिया का ये नया राजा विलियम वन किसको बुलाता है? अपना चीफ मिनिस्टर ओटो वन बिस्मार्क, whom he calls his chief minister Otto von Bismarck, and he calls the chief minister to tell him that कुछ भी करो जर्मनी को नेशन स्टेट बनाओ। क्या करो? जर्मनी को नेशन स्टेट बनाओ। क्या वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मोनार्क बन रहा है यहाँ पर? नहीं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मोनार्क नहीं बन रहा, लेकिन क्या कर रहा है? जो बिखरी हुई जर्मनी है, जो प्रशिया में थोड़ी सी है, जो थोड़ी सी ऑस्ट्रिया में है, जो थोड़ी सी डेनमार्क में है, जो थोड़ी सी फ्रांस में है, ऐसी बिखरी हुई जर्मन एरियाज को ही इज ट्राइंग टू क्लब देम ऑल टुगेदर टू फॉर्म अ नेशन स्टेट नेम्ड एज जर्मनी। इससे उसका कुछ लॉस होने वाला है क्या? कुछ लॉस नहीं होगा, इनफैक्ट प्रॉफिट ही प्रॉफिट होगा। सबसे पहले वो जो प्रशिया का राजा है उसका राजा तो वो बना ही रहेगा, एग्री। तो जिस प्रशिया का राजा है वहां का राजा तो वो बना रहेगा। ऊपर से जो जर्मन एरियाज, जर्मन स्पीकिंग एरियाज which are the part of his kingdom of Prussia, the people, the German speaking people there, they will become happy because he is trying to form a nation state of the people speaking their language, तो उनका सपोर्ट उनको मिलेगा। yes or no? Thirdly, he is now asking his chief minister Otto von Bismarck to wage a war against the three countries. The three countries are Austria, Denmark and France. These three countries had captured some of the German speaking areas under their control, and they wanted them to bring all these German speaking countries together under the kingdom of Prussia. तो अब ओटो वन बिस्मार्क का काम क्या है, टास्क क्या है, मिशन क्या है उसका, कि जाके लड़ाई करो ऑस्ट्रिया, डेनमार्क और फ्रांस में जितने भी जर्मन स्पीकिंग एरियाज है उसको जीत कर किसके पास लाके दो? William I, the king of Prussia. And he successfully did that. It took 7 years for Otto von Bismarck, the chief minister of William I, chief minister of Prussia, to capture all the German speaking areas. और इन 7 साल में बेटा उसने कितने वॉर किए? 3 वॉर किए, because there are 3 countries against whom he is fighting. Am I clear? सबको समझ में आ रहा है? Anyone, any doubt? Anyone? Moving further. Now, William I is a very happy person now because उसका क्या हो गया भाई? बड़ा भाई बन गया वो पूरे यूरोप में। कैसे बड़ा भाई बन गया? Because he is setting an example. He is showing the people of Europe that things that my ancestor couldn't do, that I have done. People were demanding for the German nation state, but none of my ancestors could do that, and I have successfully completed this mission of making Germany as a nation state. Moreover, he is now the king of Prussia as well as he is the king of Germany. So dual राजा बन गया। इसके अलावा बेटा the German emperor, he is also now a German emperor, and to proclaim himself as the emperor for Germany, he has kept a huge celebration like of thing in the palace of Versailles. अरे वर्सेलिस किधर है? फ्रांस। सेलिब्रेशन बर्थडे किसका मन रहा है? जर्मनी का। तो सेलिब्रेशन फ्रांस में क्यों हो रही है? इसको
अबे वो वर्सेलिस को तो नाम था खिलाया
नहीं, तू हार्ट अटैक देगी बेटा बैठे बैठे फ्रांस के लोगों को। वर्सेलिस को जर्मनी में डाल दिया। एग्जांपल करो ना, सेट अपने घर पे जाके करो। नहीं, फ्रांस उस समय हाँ रिपब्लिक तो बनी चुका है, रिपब्लिक ऑलरेडी बन चुका है, उसको क्या इंस्पायर करेगा? Give me some sensible answer, beta. Will you ever celebrate your birthday at your neighbor's house? क्यों करे, अपना घर है ना, वहाँ पे कर लेंगे। डोमिनेंस नहीं, हाँ, लेकिन आप थोड़ा नियर हो आंसर।
फ्रांस हार चुका था बहुत।
आप दोनों थोड़ा थोड़ा करेक्ट सोच लो, लेकिन
फ्रांस भी सेलिब्रेट कर
भाई फ्रांस और आ गया
आंसर सही आंसर क्या वो listen, some years back, in a very long time back, long before, there was one king of France who had defeated Germany. Okay, very bad. Louis X, I'm not wrong.
ये इनकी एक्चुअली जन्म का नंबर से ही चालू हुई है 1 2 3 4 5 6
As per my memory, actually it was Louis X. But listen to the story. Yes.
मैं तो इधर हूँ ये कर रहा है
Limit your excitement, your power. Otherwise, I will put many limitations on you, beta. Pay attention. Now, why Germany's unification? This is called as Germany's unification. This event was celebrated in the Palace of Versailles, which is a place in France. I'm giving you that answer. So years before, many years before, there was one war that had taken place between France and Germany. Poor Germany had lost it very badly, and France had won the war. In order to show their strength, in order to show their pride, they had already caused a lot of mass destruction in Germany with that war. The French people, to add more to the bitterness of the whole war scenario, they made the paintings of the way they defeated the German country on the palace ceilings of Versailles. कहाँ पे बनाई थी पेंटिंग्स? वर्सेलिस के पैलेस की जो सीलिंग्स थी ना, उस पर उसकी पेंटिंग्स बनाई थी, ताकि जिंदगी भर हमेशा हमेशा के लिए ये बात याद रह सके कि फ्रांस ने किसको हराया है, जर्मनी को। अब जर्मनी जब एक इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं कह रही मैं, नेशन स्टेट जब बन रहा है, तो जो रशिया के राजा थे विलियम वन, ही सेड that we will commemorate this event in the palace of Versailles to show that we are no more under the domination of any foreign group. To show that we are now making Germany a nation state, an event, a day which will be remembered forever in the history. It will be celebrated in the France palace to show that the insult that the France people had done on Germany is no longer a valid insult. Okay? समझा? ये आंसर आपको स्कूल की टीचर नहीं देगी। तो स्कूल में टीचर को परेशान करना है तो ये क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हो।
क्यों मना? हाँ, वर्सेलिस में क्यों मना? बिल्कुल वैसे पूछिए। अभी तक अबे वो एक रास्ता जो भी था
See, I'm repeating once again because France had very badly defeated Germany once upon a time in one of the war which had happened in the past, and to celebrate the way they had defeated Germany and to remember it forever, they had made the war events of paintings on the ceiling of the palace of Versailles. And in order to reverse this insult, the Kingdom of Prussia, the King William I, he decided to commemorate Germany as its nation state, or the unification of Germany. To celebrate the event, he chose the Palace of Versailles. And gladly the France people, they accepted, because France has already become a republic. So now France is trying to support all those countries which are going to become independent, or let's say it's a nation state. So in order to extend its support to the other countries, it allowed, permitted to celebrate this in the Palace of Versailles. So on 18th January 1871, which was a bitter cold morning, all the people had gathered there, the German state prince, their representatives, along with the chief minister Otto von Bismarck, they all gathered at the Hall of Mirrors, which is present in the Palace of Versailles, and they claimed Caesar William I as the new king of German Empire. Caesar, K-A-I-S-E-R. Caesar William. Caesar William. Any doubts in
मुझे भी स्कूल जाना था
खरीदा नहीं है बैग में ना हो गया था ये
सर
चलो ना